Hey man, hello and welcome to Relaxed Mel. All right, this week on episode 47, we're going to be talking about finding out who you are and what steps you need to do to actually come to that conclusion and really set yourself onto your path to the great man that you want to be. So we're going to talk about that on episode 47 of the Relaxed Male. Hello and welcome to Relaxed Male, podcast that helps men change their relationship with themselves. I am your host, Brian, and I am a men's life and mindset coach who is here to help you understand that you don't have to suffer at your own expense. You can live your dream, and I encourage you to set, then pursue your goals. So join me as I change the mindset and attitudes of men so that they can be the leaders of their families and their destinies. Hey man, hello and welcome to Relaxed Male. So today we're going to be talking about a couple different things, mostly about core values and why they are important to actually who you are, and finding out and how you can go about on the journey of discovering what your actual core values are. What do you truly believe? But before we actually start, I wanted to just say thank you for taking your time. This is the 47th episode. We are just about to the 1 week mark, and which is, or 1 week. Let's see if I can get my days. All right. We need a little longer than a month. What's after a month? A year. Yeah. A 1 year mark. So it's been kind of interesting. And I just kind of wanted to talk about how, we're getting there. We're just, a few episodes away. Started this in November, and it was, I've only missed so far with just one episode, and that's awesome. I'm proud to be able to actually say that I have cranked out an episode every week with the exception of one. So, if you like this, if you've been listening to the past shows and you haven't shared the show out, to your followers and to your friends and family, do so. Help us to grow our community and express to the folks that you share this with why it is so good. What about it actually helps you to be the better man that you are aiming to be? And you can do that through most of the different types of podcatchers out there. They've all got seem to have some type of share button where you can share either an episode or the show itself. So either way, please share it out. Let people know about it, and let's see if we can get our community grow some. Any other news really happening? No, not really. Just still have been really working on getting men together so that we can really start building up the Brotherhood of Men group. And if you're not a part of the Brotherhood yet, why not, man? Come in, join us. You can go to relaxedmale.com/Brotherhood and be able to act. And from there, you just fill out a little questionnaire, a little application, and I will get in touch with you, and we'll sit down. We'll have a little talk about what it is you're wanting to achieve and what you're wanting to do, where you are on your journey, and things like that. And we'll just kind of figure out how well you will fit in with the group. That's a great place to go. We'll go ahead and I'm terrible at transition, guys. If you haven't noticed that yet, I am horrible at transition. So we're just going to go ahead and just say, screw it. Let's jump into the question of the week, which is brought to you courtesy, strangely enough, by the Brotherhood of Men. And this, if you're not aware of what the Brotherhood of Men are, this is a group that I've put together that helps men to become the best men possible for their sons. This works on you. If you've got a goal, you've got a idea, you have a level you're wanting to attain, and you've been trying to do it and you're just not quite there. The Brotherhood of Men is actually something that will help you out with. You can actually come in, and we base it on the mastermind principle, but it's not just one-on-one coaching. It is not, it's not just group coaching. There's more to it than that, because I see that every man who joins into the group is actually got something to contribute to the group. So as the term high tide raises all boats. And as the saying of iron sharpens iron, so does man sharpen man. We help each other and lift each other up. We give the encouragement. We give the accountability that you could possibly need to be able to become the better person. Sometimes we just need that little kick in the butt. We need someone who will grab us by the arm and lift us up when we feel like we're not able to make it. Maybe our journey feels so terribly lonely. And with that, there's almost a desire to quit and to just go back into the land of comfort. And the Brotherhood of Men doesn't let you do that. They're there to help support you. We are to build you up and let you know that, yeah, you are going through something tough. You're going through something lonely, but that desert that you're going through, that valley, that low spot, you are actually not alone. You have got a band of brothers there with you who are out to make sure that you succeed. And that's what Brotherhood of Men is all about. So what is the question of the week? Well, the question of the week this week is not a Quora, believe it or not. It is actually, I grabbed this from a YouTube comment that someone left for me concerning last week's episode about not settling. And the user is just goes by the name D. And sadly, you can't see this comment because I don't know whether if D deleted the comment, or if YouTube decided, you know what, we're not going to allow this and deleted it. Either way, it's kind of bummed because I didn't get the full rant that he had. So all I got was what showed up in my comment and my notification on YouTube that someone had commented on don't settle. And then when I went to it, it was empty. So I had to actually just use the notification for the question. But the question is really important. And let me read it to you. It says, D says, don't settle for what? Laughing my Lmfao. Some people don't have any choice in their circumstances, you ignorant. Woo-hoo. By the way, no matter what action you take during your life, it ends exactly the same way. All right. Now, first off, I have to say is like, I love my haters. I really do, because they often show how much help they really need. They exemplify why they need, something like the Relaxed Male, something like the Brotherhood of Men, because they see life in such a scarcity oriented manner that they fail to see, the great things that are happening and why you don't want to settle. And I don't think he actually listened to much of the show. But at the same time, he did come across, and I apparently said something enough to where it enticed him to actually respond, which is a great thing. I love having when people will actually respond. And if you'd like to make a comment, you can go to YouTube. I post the podcast up as a still image, show. And I haven't done any actual videos in a while. I'm looking at trying to find a way of doing that to get back into actually making videos. And it's probably going to be through the cab of the truck, which, okay, it happens. It goes that way, but it'll also, I think it'll give me a chance to do videos in other places too. So, but anyhow, there are two reasons why I really, wanted to use this comment. One, it shows that hurt people hurt people. He's striking out. And a lot of times I think this is probably actually an example of projection. I see, I have the feeling, and I could be completely wrong. Normally am, but I think D realizes that he is settled. And because I pointed that out and it rang in his soul that, hey, he's settled, that's what caused him to lash out. It really caused that thought and that hurt to want him to cause a a chain of thoughts that created the anger for him to actually want to go off and say that people don't have any choice in their circumstances, but they do. Circumstances are neutral. Circumstances are just an event in your life. How you choose to interpret that circumstance is entirely upon you. And I would really have loved to have had this conversation with Dee through YouTube, but it didn't happen. But to have such a fatalistic view of, with the words of, by the way, no matter what action you take during your life, it ends exactly the same way. Well, yeah, you die. We all die at the end. The human condition is a terminal condition. We're going to die eventually. So how big of a splash are you going to make for the rest of the world? Are you going to be just barely a ripple, if any ripple at all? Or are you going to make a wave? Are you going to make a tidal wave? Are you going to just wash the world in what great idea that you have? All of these are opportunities. All of these are possibilities. And that's what the Brotherhood of Men is able to do. That's what Relaxed Male is wanting to do for you also. That's how I want to be able to help you, is for you to see that life becomes so much better, so much greater when you actually take the time to actually do the work to become the great man that you are capable of becoming. And yes, we are all capable of becoming incredible men. We are able to become great influences in other people's lives. But the key to all that is starting with yourself. And that's where we're going to be jumping into the main topic. And the main topic is finding your way and finding out who you are. Now, when it comes to finding who you are, we hear those, there's those different rites of passage. Like, we go about, on these, when we're in high school, we do these tests to find out what our those aptitude tests to find out what we're supposed to be quote unquote good at. And in all reality, those are not the best things to do. We may end up going to college and racking up a huge astronomical amount of debt where we never are able to get it paid off by the time we turn 65, and some people are still paying on their debts even then. And it's all because they're doing something that is not part of, not to their true passion, not to who they are, and they don't live their life according to what their core beliefs are, what their core values are. And it's a really sad way of actually living your life, where you are working because you have a debt instead of working because you are doing that thing that makes you feel alive. Now, there's ways of being able to do that and work at the same time. I've never been one to say that, hey, the only way you're going to find happiness is if you leave your work and you go start your own business. No, not really. There are people who are better suited to be employees, and they find happiness in being an employee. They find happiness in being the innovator for another company. And that's good. That's great. Everybody has a purpose. And not everybody's purpose is to be, the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar industry. But a lot of people don't even take the first steps to try to find out what their passion is, what their core values are. And kind of a little series that I'm doing, I've mentioned before, I'm really thinking of a book, and so what I'm actually doing with podcast now is I'm actually wanting to start trying to work over my ideas for the book and fold them into the podcast and see if I can find a good path or journey that I can take with the book. Where would I need to start? What's the big overarching idea, and fine tune that down to each of the little details that fit into the 4 pillars of the relaxed male. So one of the things that I am big on making sure men do is to know what their core values are. What do you stand for? That is the biggest question that most people have, because you've heard that if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And there is a big, huge element of truth in that, because you don't have any convictions if you don't have a set of values. Now, you may have a couple of values that you know right off the bat. You may say that you are, you take honesty to be the main core value in your life. And it could be. It may also be that, you live that core value. Someone goes off and gives you an extra dollar while counting out change and they don't catch it. When you sit down, the moment you catch it, you go back and you give them $1. You may, have gratitude as a primary core value. And you're always going around. You're making sure you do little things to let people know how grateful you are for the actions that they took to help you. Gratitude is a great core value to actually have, but there's so many more. And that's where a lot of people actually get kind of lost, is when they start out, they're like, well, how do I find what my core values are? And that could be a big challenge. It can be overwhelming because you're like going, well, what do I stand for? I don't know. What do I stand for? I like being happy. Is being happy a core value? Well, it can be. I like race cars. Can race cars be a core value? Well, not really. At least I don't believe it can be. I mean, you might be able to, that might become a passion of yours, but the foundation of what your beliefs are, foundation of who you are, and maybe it might be some foundation and you see things in your life that you desperately want to change. Maybe you have been known to not tell the truth. Maybe you want to start having truthfulness be a core value. You are going to start becoming, almost brutally honest. I mean, there's times where, a little diplomacy comes into play. You don't tell your wife that the dress makes her backside look big. You may, instead of lying to her and going, oh no, sweetheart, you've got a beautiful backside. If that, that dress, those horizontal stripes really stretch out around the derriere area, you might say, well, I kind of like the way you look in that solid blue dress that you always wear. You could, very diplomatically speaking, not lie to her, but you can also help her to help her feel as confident as she possibly can. You're not making her feel confident, but you're helping her. You're changing a view. So how do you find out what your core values are? Well, there's there's 3 different avenues you can take. And I would actually combine all 3 of those. First off, I would say take a day and just go someplace where there's no interruptions. Turn your phone off. Leave it in the car, go out and in the woods, take a little chair, or something, and go out and just sit and enjoy nature and relax and clear your mind of all the trash and clutter and everything that's in there. Do a mental download, just take a piece of paper and write down all your thoughts down on paper so you don't have to clog your mind up trying to remember everything. And then write down what you believe you are, your core values are, and may also look at what your weaknesses are. Maybe you do stretch the truth a whole lot. Maybe you do, embellish way more than you need to. Or maybe you are a people pleaser. These are things you don't want to be. And so you want to make sure that you want to change that value and become something better. Change those things that you want to change and keep those things that you find to be of good and useful for you and helpful. From there, you can start tweaking what your core values are. You can start making the changes and putting up reminders. You can start, because you can say, I'm going to start being more honest. And if you don't ever think of that value ever again, you're not going to make the change. You have to keep that change up in front of you at all times and keep reminding yourself, I am going to be better. I'm going to become better. I'm going to become better. I want to be more honest. I want to be more friendly. I want to be, more accommodating. There's all these different words. Now that's another way that you can actually start on building your core values is there's all over the internet, there are different, lists of core values, and some are small. They're like 10 core values that you may want to have. But I found one that's a list of 400, and it's just packed full of, there's words in there I would have never thought to use as a core value, but a lot of them are interesting and most of them don't fit me, then most of them aren't going to fit you. But the ones that do fit you, you can actually look through there and go, wow, friendly, boom, rings with me. Honest, boom. Oh, that one's definitely it. Transparent, boom, that one. There's all these different terms that you can find to help you to better describe what your core values are. And you can then use those, maybe look through that list, and I'll put a link to the list of 400 on the show notes. But if you go through there and you actually, write down, maybe 20, 30 of the words that you most like, and then go into the self-reflection where you actually go out somewhere where there's no distraction, and you just take the time to look at those words and think of what you want to change and what you want to keep, and filter through those and find those words, find 10 words that best fit you. Another way to do so is to use your brotherhood, those good friends of yours. If you're part of the Brotherhood of Men, you can come to us. And especially if you've been with us for a while, we can kind of have a good idea of who you are, what you're aiming at. But if you have other friends that you've known for a couple, 3 years, friends that you go spend Saturday night, with, going watching a movie or, eating out, you've got family. Now, family can be a little on the tricky side because they're good to use. And I'm not against family. I love family, but sometimes your family will, if they see you're trying to improve yourself, you're going to start they're going to start doing projections like what Dee did in the question of the week, where they're not going to attack you, but they're going to kind of lead you away. And it's not because they're being angry, but because out of love, they don't see the benefit of that. And your friends can have the very same. You may have some friends who are just very much, see you trying to improve yourself. And they're like going, dude, come on, let's go have some beers over at the bar, and we'll go ogle at the girls for a while. Or come on, let's come to my house. We'll play video games and have a joint or two. Okay. They may be able to help you to a point, but you kind of want to pay attention to what they say and take what they say, but don't necessarily take it to heart, because your friends and family can at times, can lead you astray unless you have have your values really set in stone. Now, once you go through all this and you find out what your shortcomings are, and your family can be real good with shortcomings, because they're going to know you the best. Now, I'm not saying that your family is always going to dog on you, but they're going to be able to say, hey, yeah, you have a hard time really completing stuff. And there are going to be blind areas that you don't want to look at. And so family can be very good for that, because they can actually shine a light on the shadowed areas that you aren't focusing in on. We like to look at all the good things we do. We don't really care to look at what our shortcomings are. And so this, like I said, family is good for that. And some friends, if they're honest enough, will tell you also where your shortcomings are. Family, it's just kind of a neat, interesting dynamic where, a lot of them have no problem, pointing out where you fail at. So once you have a list kind of worked out, and you've talked to your family, okay, you're always late. You're always, you're always over drinking on Saturday. There's these things that, the problems that have been mentioned are cropping up, and you see which ones you really want to change and which ones you're content with. You can then start applying those and start incorporating those into your life. And like I said, I would take sticky notes. If I had a set of, maybe I worked my list down to 10 words, 10 core values that I want to focus in on for the rest of the year. I would put those up around, maybe have one or two of the big words that I have struggle with. I may stick that on the windshield of my car so that as I'm driving, I can look and see that I am working on being the honest man. I am working at being the person they turn to for care, for protection, things like that. So I would actually start looking at that and start bending, and you can start using these core values to actually shape your life more into the path that you actually want to have. And so that's why core values are important. And when you apply these core values and reference them or juxtapose them to who you want to be and who you are, you actually can start making more conscious decisions, because core values are incredible. They're for making sure that you are the man that you are wanting to on how you want to live your life. If you want to have a life that is full of friends and full of deep, true connections, there's nothing better than making sure that you're living a life with integrity. And that integrity is living your life according to what your core values are. And that's what happens to a lot of us men. Why we get caught up and we feel like we're lost, and we feel like there's problems in most of the problems in our life are because we are not living our lives according to what our core values are. When we have our core values and we have them defined and we know what they are, and we live our lives to those sets of rules, we are happier, more fulfilled, and ready to take on whatever comes our way. Our decisions, when we come across those tough decisions, we can look to our core values, and we know that we're people of honesty. So we're going to return that $5 extra. Our character blooms and becomes stronger, and we have a person of strong moral character, strong family. We are better leaders when we have our set of core values. We can lead our families better. We can show our sons why you want to have these core values, and you can instill those core values into your son. And if he wants to have them, great, honest, he's awesome. He'll use them and he'll expand on them. And then again, he will come up with his own sets of core values, and he'll take his own path as we fathers take the time to make ourselves obsolete and ensure that our sons don't need us. Our daughters don't need us. We raise them to become a self-sufficient human being who is got their own agency, and they are making their own choices with confidence and surety. Who are you? You're a man of values. What are those values? Those values are what define us and help us to become the better man. Now, with wrapping up, I want to what have we learned from this? Well, first off, we learned that values are a critical building block to our foundation, to how we live our lives. The core values are what we hold dear to us, and they define us. If we want to be able to be an effective leader, we have to have our set of core values. What do we believe in? And we have to live to those to maintain our integrity. And if you like this show, let's go ahead and wrap her up. If you like this show, I want to say thank you. Thank you so much. If you could go to relaxedmale.com/Podchaser, that's PODCHASER, Podchaser. or relaxedmale.com/podchaser. That'll take you over to the Podchaser, our Podchaser page. And there you can actually leave a rating and review. Having those reviews helps give a social, credit and social proof to our show, and helps people to come to understand that this is a great show to listen to. And it helps us to become a better and stronger, because we attract more people and our community can start to grow. And I've got, ideas for starting up some external other means of where we can actually interact with each other. And as those come about, I'll be letting you know here. One of the things that I actually have created here recently is a Facebook group for people who are raising boys and raising confident men, their sons into confident men. And so if you would like to join that group, I'd love for you to. You can go over to relaxedmale.com /47. That'll be for this page, and we will have a link to that Facebook group there. And I want to thank you for listening. I'm repeating myself now, so I guess it is time to be moving on. I'm down to repeating myself because I just realized I forgot I was going to talk about, if you like the show and you aren't subscribed, please do go click the subscribe button on your favorite, podcast listening app of your choice. You can go to relaxedmale.com /subscribe. And I've got ways for you to subscribe to all the different, popular podcatchers out there. And, so if you're on, listen through Apple, podcast, got a link for that where you can just click and it'll subscribe you. If you're a Google Podcast listener, you can click that link and you can go and subscribe there. Overcast, Downcast, all the other types of casts. I've got links to those. If you're Spotify, you can listen through there if you like. Better if you get a better experience if you listen through like Overcast or Pocket Casts or some of those others. But there are those who like to listen through Spotify, and if you do, good on you, man. Thank you for listening. And you can get more information and view the show notes over at relaxedmale.com /47. So, guys, I'm going to go. I'm circling and just babbling now. So, thank you again for listening. Y'all have a great week. We will talk to you next Thursday. Till then, stay awesome.